Hello everyone, welcome to Crystal Diaries. This is another episode of the series of videos relating to law of contracts in India. So in our previous video, we read about the different types of contract. And in this video, we are going to read about the essential elements of a valid contract. As you know that a valid contract is also a type of contract on the basis of its enforceability. So in this video, we are going to cover this concept in detail. But before that, as I say, please bring your Bayrect, a notebook and a pen so that we can read the Bayrect simultaneously and we can note down all the important points whatever we discuss here. So let us begin. So the essential elements of a valid contract. For this, we need to read two important provisions from the Contract Act. The first one is Section 2H and the other one is Section 10. So what does Section 2H say? It defines a contract. It says an agreement enforceable by law is a contract. So an agreement, in order to become a contract, has to be enforceable. So if you have missed out our previous video relating to the definition of agreement or enforceability, you can check out our playlist. So we have read about this. Now the other section is Section 10. What agreements are contract? So Section 10 says all agreements are contracts if they are made by the free consent of the parties competent to contract for a lawful consideration and with a lawful object and are not hereby expressly declared to be void. So you can see the bold phrases I have made here. So these are also the essential elements of contract. See, first there is free consent, then competent to contract, lawful consideration, lawful object, and not hereby expressly declared to be void. So if you have checked that previous video, there are certain provisions in the Contract Act which expressly declare that certain contracts are void, like contracts or agreements in restraint of marriage, trade, to do an impossible event. All these things are declared to be void. Now what else does Section 10 mention? It says nothing herein contained shall affect any law in force in India and not hereby expressly repealed, by which any contract is required to be made in writing or in the presence of witnesses, or any law relating to the registration of documents. Okay, this in simple language means that if in any law that is made in India says that for certain contracts to be in writing and they must be registered, so these two conditions have to be fulfilled. If they are not fulfilled but they are mandated by law to be made, in those cases, although the contract will be valid, but you cannot enforce them because they lack enforceability due to technicalities like the lack of registration or the lack of writing or time bar. All these are the unenforceable contracts. Now let us move to the essentials of valid contract in detail. So I think we have 10 essential elements. So let us begin. The first one is two different parties. So this is simple. To make a contract, you can't make a contract with yourself, right? You need two different parties, two or more different parties actually. Now the other one is, second one, valid offer and acceptance. If you have not checked our previous video, you can go and check where I have actually in detailed manner have described about offer, acceptance and communication. So there must be an offer from either side of the party, because without offer and a contract cannot be formed. And another essential element is that must be accepted by the other party. So the offer and acceptance have been defined in section 2A and section 2B respectively. So when they're accepted, another important part comes in play, that is communication. The offer has to be communicated and the acceptance also has to be communicated. Now the third one is intention to create legal relationship. So there must always be an intention to create legal relationship. It should not create any social relationship or anything like that. If you have seen our previous videos, the best example for this is Balfour versus Balfour, right? So the third element is free consent. So for this, you have to read section 13 and section 14 of the Act. So 13 says that there should be free consent. When we say free consent, it holds a doctrine consensus ad idem, which means to understand the same thing in same sense. Another important word here is free consent. So when we say free consent, section 14 comes into play, which says that the free consent is one in which there will be no coercion, no undue influence, no fraud, no misrepresentation or no mistake. All these things are also elaborated in the separate sections as we will read forward. So for the time being, you have to remember that there must be consent and the consent must be free. Now the fifth one is capacities of parties to contract. So who can contract? The one who has the capacity to contract. Now who is said to be a party who is capable of making contracts? He should not be a minor. He should not be a person of unsound mind, and the law should not disable him or disqualify him from contracting. So we are going to read in detail about this, but for the time being, you should know that the capacities of the parties to contract is also an essential element of valid contract. Now moving to the sixth one, lawful consideration. We have already studied consideration. Consideration means the price of the contract. I have a whole separate video, in fact 2 videos relating to consideration, its exceptions. You can go through them. So here it says that there should be lawful consideration, and it is envisaged in section 23 of the Act. Now let us take an example. A promises to obtain for B an employment in the public service, and B promises to pay 1000 rupees to A. So this agreement is void. Why? Because the consideration for it is unlawful. So he is paying bribe or he is giving bribe, and bribery is an offense. Since the consideration is unlawful, so the entire contract is not valid. Now moving forward, there is lawful object. Now again the relevant section is section 23 of the Indian Contract Act. So it says that not only the consideration but the object should also be lawful. Now we are going to understand this with the help of an illustration. Suppose A promises B to drop a prosecution which he has instituted against B for robbery, and B promises to restore the value of the things taken. So this agreement is void as its object is unlawful. What is the object here? To drop a prosecution for robbery. You know that robbery is an offense under the Indian Penal Code. So if you are paying some person to drop a prosecution, then this is unlawful because the law has declared this to be an offense. And this is something where parties cannot compromise between themselves, that yes, you have taken my money or so, you return me back and I'll drop the prosecution. It is not so. So I hope you understand what lawful object is. Now moving forward, that the agreement must not be expressly declared void. So in the previous video when we studied about void agreements or void contracts, we went through many sections wherein it said that the Act forbids certain contracts or agreements that restrains marriage, trade, etc. So the act must not expressly declare that certain contract is void. Now moving forward, there is certainty. Now the important provision is section 29. Section 29 says whatever contract you make, it must be certain. It should not be vague. It should be very clear. So let us take an example. So A agrees to sell to B 100 tons of oil. There is nothing whatever to show what kind of oil was intended. Like, how do you know? Is it mustard oil, or is it coconut oil, or is it olive oil? Nobody knows. So since the certainty factor is missing here, so this is not a valid contract. So the agreement is void. But why? For uncertainty. Now moving forward, possibility. Section 56 is the important section which says an agreement to do an act impossible in itself is void. This is very simple and very clear. Let us take an example. Suppose A agrees with B to discover treasure by magic. The agreement is void because we know that no such magic exists. Another one, A and B contract to marry each other. Before time fixed for marriage, A goes mad. The contract becomes void. How? Because in order to get married, one needs to be capable of that. So it is very important for marriage that one should be a major and should be of sound mind so that they can give their free consent to it. But since A has gone mad, even though they marry, the contract is void. And the last one, legal formalities, stamping, registration, etc. So this I think I have already explained in section 10, where it said that if the law declares that stamping is necessary, registration is necessary, or writing is necessary, all this have to be fulfilled because these are the legal formalities. So I think you're clear with the concept of essential elements of a valid contract. So if you want to check the other concepts relating to law of contract, you can check my playlist. I hope you liked the video. So till then, when we bring our next video on the concept of contract, please keep practicing and take care of yourself. Thank you. Goodbye.